which is the Constitution. So we should have a constitutional representative democracy. We say we're Democrat, but then we start going down the list of what do you believe in and what do you identify as Constitution. So we should have a constitutional representative democracy. What's up? What's up? Happy Tuesday to all of those who are out there. Thank you for joining me. I am your excited yet humble host, Lawrence Sanders Jr., and you are tuned in to Be the People, where it is a call to action. Thank y'all for joining me. If you are on your way home and you're tuned in, please keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. There has been a lot going on here at Be the People, and I am super excited for what we have going on here. Shout out to Lamar and the TFG Media Network for allowing me to have this space and this platform to really talk and to educate people. I really love doing this. This is just something that I really dig it. It's fun. Get to talk to y'all every week. Got to hang out with Lamar and some of the other homies last night, kind of talking about some other stuff. But I'm just glad we have this space and this opportunity to just talk about things and educate ourselves, which ultimately that's what this is about. We educate ourselves, we act, and we see political evolution. If you're out there and you're just joining me, and you can type in the comment section, drop a line, let me know you're here. Kendrick, good to see you. Shantae and Miles, good to see y'all. Thank y'all for joining me here on Be the People. Tonight it is going down. The last few weeks I've had guests on the show. For those who have just kind of been tuning in on the tail end, we have been journeying through the Constitution, and we kind of parked for a few weeks just talking about the executive branch. The executive branch being the president, long story short, and just what he entails and what he does. And so with this being an election season, I wanted to talk about our current president, but then tonight we are going to talk about the future potential presidential candidates, but it would not be the same if we didn't have anybody to join us tonight. So we got another week of some friends coming on to join me tonight. What's up, Trees? Welcome to Be the People. And I encourage y'all, please keep the comment section popping and alive, please. Hey, we got Rick, Candace. Hey, welcome. We got a few other people that's supposed to be coming on. That'll probably be in a little later. Candace, hey, thank you for joining me tonight on Be the People. We got what would you identify yourself as, Rick? Are you like a conservative, libertarian? Like where are you at in the political spectrum?
I truly believe everybody has something of everything, but I consider myself a Democrat.
Okay, so that's cool.
Myself, I can be a liberal in a lot of ways, and then some days I can be very moderate. So
Okay, I got you, and
yeah.
I think that's the beauty of having a democracy. That's what we talk about here on the show. The beauty of having a democracy, you don't necessarily have to be all of one. You could be, Republican in some ideology, and you can be Democrat in some ideology. You can be conservative in some, and Republican in or liberal or in the other. Somebody said we look alike, man.
Oh man, well listen, hey. Thank you. I think you're an attractive brother. I feel like I'm an attractive brother too.
I think it's because we brown skin. I think that's colorism happening right now.
It's some light skin. You do the light skin. You do the light skin squint too. When you
right. I think it's the facial hair and the skin complexion. I don't know. Well, nah, I'm with you, man. Kennard, hey, what's going on?
What's up, Kennard?
Thanks for joining us, man. So we got a few other people coming on. We're trying to get some others to join. I know some people may be running just a little behind. I do want to remind our viewers to please, if you haven't, go like and subscribe to the YouTube page. I want to start a little campaign, maybe just with my page, but as well as with the TFG. But I want to grow the show. I think that's going to be like the hashtag. is grow the show.
I like
Hashtag
that.
grow the
I like
show. You know, trying to do this full time, so I don't have to go to work every day. Almond twins. That's
that. Almond
hilarious.
twins.
So, well, since it's just me and you, man, like let's
Yeah.
hop into it. I know Lamar has he has another show where he's working out, being fit and stuff. So he'll hop in here a little later, as well
All
as
right.
hopefully we can get Chad on, um and hopefully Brenton can come on too. He got the
Oh
invite,
yeah.
but
We
I know
got B
y'all
coming
be
on.
got the great show that the great
Yeah.
showdown.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to start since you did say initially that you identify as a Democrat, or I
Yeah.
mean we can say liberal.
Mm-hmm.
How? Nope, I only had one light bright sun. Okay, pause real quick before we get into that.
Is that
Y'all,
mama?
that's my
Is that
mama.
mama?
That's mom's. Real quick before we get into this. Today is my daddy's birthday.
All
So if
right.
y'all can send William Lawrence Sanders Sr. some birthday love in the comment section. That's my daddy. Today is his birthday. I stopped counting how old he was. Just know he has a 32-year-old son, a 20-something-year-old another son, and a 20-something-year-old daughter. So
Are you 32?
I'm 32 years young,
Yeah.
man. Yes.
I'll be 34 this year. So man,
Can
time
see,
flies.
man, some people said we wouldn't make it, but
Yeah.
yeah, like
We here. We
yeah,
here,
we
man.
here. And thanks to thanks to my pops. Like
Yeah.
my dad is a very successful man, but he was tough on us. He loved us. He made sure we had what it was that we needed, and even some of the stuff that we wanted. But he's the reason why we turned out the way we are now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's because of my pops that I'm sitting here able to be the people.
Right. Right.
It's because of him. So shout out to him. Shout out to I'm his namesake. Hopefully I'm doing him proud. Something like
Yeah,
that.
man.
I actually want to
Oh, we
get
got a
him
lot
on
of
the
things in
show.
common. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we
I'm
should.
my father's namesake, and my dad has a show on here as well. You know, Wednesday night talk. But
That's your
strong
daddy, bro?
black. Yeah, it's my dad, man. Ricky.
Oh
Ricky.
wow.
Yeah, man.
Of course. Of
Yeah,
course.
man. So strong black fathers. Big ups to strong black fathers, man.
Yes, we need them. My
Without them,
mama. Woo, woo, y'all old. I'm only 29. My hold on to that. Yes. Yes.
hey,
So true
listen,
story.
ain't how you. It's how you feel
It's how
nowadays.
you
That's what
feel.
it is.
Like no real
Yeah.
talk. Like when I was in high school, people thought my mom was my sister. I almost got in a
Yeah,
few fights. I almost got in like real talk. Like, hey,
I
how your
hear
mama
that, man.
doing? Watch your
Yeah,
mouth. All right.
yeah.
So yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. Also, yesterday was my grandmother's birthday. Hers was on the
All right.
17th. Also, my cousin Stephanie's birthday is today as well. They share the same birthday.
Oh
And
man, birthday
then
month for y'all.
yes, and then my
Yeah.
brother, my brother, his birthday is the 21st.
Oh,
So
birthday. August is an expensive time.
man, listen, we
You
know
know.
what some parents was doing back in November, December.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
we
Right.
knew.
Right.
We put two and two together 9 months later, and so, anyways, let's hop into it, man. We 8 minutes
All right.
in, so want to talk about Joe Biden
Okay.
and Sister Harris. Are they the right choice for the Democratic Party? How do you feel?
You know, it's it's the choices that we have, right? Um, I I did like Bernie Sanders a lot. I liked him in 2016 as
I
well.
love Bernie, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Bernie ideas are starting to really catch on into the Democratic Party, and starting to become a little stronghold in the Democratic Party. Um, but yes, the reason why I think they are the right ticket is because of Joe Biden's appeal outside of just black people. You know,
Okay.
Joe
Okay.
Biden can appeal to the white working class, even the what they say, without a degree,
Mm-hmm.
white people without a degree. He's even
The working
running neck
class,
and
if you
neck,
will.
yeah, running neck and neck with Donald Trump on these people. So I do feel like for this time they're the right choice. I think Kamala Harris they both have their flaws, like
Mm-hmm.
all candidates do, but I think they're the right choice for the ticket. Only because Joe Biden got a wider appeal. Even though I love Bernie Sanders, I think Bernie's appeal, he can be a little extremist for some people. And what we do know, if you go into politics, what we do know is moderate presidents really went out. So,
True.
you got these extreme sides of each party. The
Mm-hmm.
moderates really went out. And because America is mostly, I feel like it's mostly moderate. Like you said before, we're not all one thing. And
Right.
so this moderate, viewpoint where we can all agree on. I think both of those people are moderate. And I think they're the best, for right now, the best choice for the ticket.
So let's backtrack to Bernie real quick
Hmm.
because I think Bernie was really getting a lot of traction, and I honestly thought he was going to be the the party's nomination. Like,
Hmm.
what do you feel like happened? Like, I honestly, like, as I was looking at it, I was kind of like, I
Well,
really, I really don't know what happened.
what happened was we got to a more diverse, you know, crowd of people in the primaries. That's what ended up happening. So you start out with those, we like to say, white states.
Right,
You got Iowa, New Hampshire,
right.
and there's a lot of liberals, like a lot of real hardcore, like left to left liberals in those states. And so they, somebody like Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren will really appeal to these people. What's up, Chad?
Hey,
Welcome,
how's it
Mister.
going?
Okay.
Real quick, welcome, Mister Uncle Tom,
Oh man,
conservative Republican
yeah, yeah.
Chad
Sorry,
O.
I'm late.
Jackson Jr. So he may identify as Republican, but he still has black tendencies. He's late.
Yeah.
Yeah,
CPT.
right. So, yeah, it's color people time. Next
Can
time I
y'all
just
hear
say
me
it.
okay?
Right.
So go
You
ahead
want to
though.
you want
So
to ask the question so Chad can hear the question again? Or?
so I was asked. So we were kind of talking about how um Biden won the Democratic nomination, but we were trying to figure out like where did Bernie go wrong?
Yeah.
Like what
And,
where like what happened?
right. And so what I was explaining was that they got to a more diverse and moderate states. When you start off with, New Hampshire and Iowa, you got these states where, that's starting to become a very liberal part of that's the liberal part of the primaries. You
Hmm.
start venturing out moderate, you start seeing what happened. And I think that's what happened with Bernie. I do think, like I said before, Bernie's ideals are important. I think that most people like Bernie ideas. They felt like, but if he go against Donald Trump, you're gonna have this issue of Donald Trump labeling him too far to the left,
Hmm.
labeling him as a socialist, and I think that scared a lot of Democratic people out there that vote Democrat to say, you know what, I I, I like Bernie, but he's it's not his time. And unfortunately, because of his age, it will never be his time. But this time is not his time. We got to get Donald Trump out of the White House, and so that's what I feel like happened to
Somebody said the establishment got Bernie. Uh-huh.
the vote got Bernie, and and this is the thing. When you go back, Chad and Lawrence, Joe Biden was always the favorite, right, from the beginning,
Like from jump. Like
right?
that's why I posed the question because it's like, but I know he was labeled a socialist
Hmm.
and
Yeah, and these ideas are great in theory, and they sound good. But like I said before, Democratic people that I've talked to like Bernie Sanders a lot.
a
They
lot.
were afraid that he could not win in November because he was so far, as they say, so far to the left. You can't see me. I'm doing quotations in the sky.
I got you.
Um, but I think that's kind of what scared people away from Bernie. I think Bernie ideals are great. Free healthcare. People like to label him as socialist, but there's a lot of socialist policy that we have right now. You know,
Uh-oh.
Medicaid. What's up, man?
Uh-oh. Dun, 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 dun.
What's going on?
You
I
gonna
made it.
Welcome, Mr. TFG Media
Lamar,
himself, Brother
Lamar,
Lamar Faulk.
President Falk.
Well,
What's
at least I'm
going
not the only
on?
one that was late.
Yeah,
What's that?
CPT.
What's going
Co-
on?
He said, at least he wasn't the only one that was
the,
late.
the conservative in the moderate conservative.
Right.
Let's get this party started.
Oh, we didn't already started. Okay, so let's do this. We kind of
But
took
yeah,
a
that's
rabbit.
my take on it. So
Yeah,
I'll
I got you.
let Chad them go.
I got you. So we kind of took a rabbit hole, but we'll come back to that maybe some other time. So the question on the table is for the Democratic Party coming up, is Harris and Biden the best choice for the Democratic Party?
It's hard to answer because they're Democrats.
Here you go. Here you go. Wait, did you take the CBD already?
I haven't. If I had to choose Democrat, I guess with what's out there right now, those would be probably the better choices for Democrats out of the pool of Democrats that are out there. Everyone else is pretty much Bernie's too far left. That lady, whatever her name is, what's the old lady? Can never think of her name. She's too far left. Warren's too far left. Buttigieg.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, no pun intended with that, but
thanks, Tam. So appreciate it. If we didn't learn nothing last night,
I think they're the best based on what's out there in the field.
Okay, based on what though? Is it just because the other candidates are terrible?
Yeah, I think the other candidates are too far. For instance, Bernie is a socialist, in my opinion, and I'm not interested in a socialist society. I'm not. I'm a moderate, so I believe in a lot of fiscal most of my views as far as fiscal are conservative. However, I do believe in social, being a liberal as far as my social views go. So some of them just too far this way.
Hello.
This way for me. Like Obama used to talk about sharing the wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of it is just a little too much for me.
Well, we did it already, but
True. So Chad, I'll throw that same question to you. I know you have really no interest in the Democratic Party. However, do you feel like this is probably the best team, the best squad that the Democratic Party could have put together to go against Donald Trump?
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I can barely hear y'all. So the question was, do I believe that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is the best ticket for the Democrats?
Yes. And if so, why?
Well,
why not?
Well, obviously, as you so eloquently put, I'm not a Democrat, but I don't know. I don't think that this is the best ticket that that the Democrats have to offer, if I'm being completely honest. And I say that as somebody who votes conservative, someone who votes Republican. Okay. It's not particularly a ticket that makes me shake in my boots, so to speak. It's not a ticket that I'm concerned for with regard to Trump winning a re-election or not. I think that Trump not only has a chance, but a strong chance of winning against this ticket. You have Joe Biden, who can barely remember what he had for dinner, even though it was probably like 5 minutes ago. You have Kamala Harris, who's deeply corrupt, and she's black when it's politically expedient for her. So, I think that a lot of people will see through that. If not see through that, I mean, they won't see through it enough to actually go and pull the lever for Trump, but they won't particularly be enthused to go vote for Biden and Kamala Harris, in my opinion, in the same way that many people stayed home for Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine in 2016. I don't think that this is a ticket that excites people, from what I've been experiencing and the conversations that I've been a part of from Democrat friends.
Okay, you were about to say something, Lamar.
As far as the best team, in my opinion, the best team to take down Trump, I think in the day that we're in right now, the culture of the world right now, and all the police brutality and all the stuff going on, I think the ticket is the best ticket. Definitely having a black woman on the ticket is the best ticket to win. Do I think it's the most qualified ticket? Absolutely. I think Hillary Clinton is the most qualified Democrat to be in the House, to be in the presidency right now, but she can't get elected, unfortunately.
So why do you think Biden did not select Hillary as opposed to our beloved sister Harris?
because he knows people hate Hillary for some reason, and he might be threatened by, I don't know. And she just I don't think she's electable anymore. People are over the Clintons and the Bushes. I don't think they would be willing to put either of them back in office.
I also think that she don't want to be vice president. She probably could have got on the ticket when Obama was
Yeah,
um,
I agree.
running, and I don't think that's not her goal is to ever be vice president. Um, like before you guys came on, I was explaining the reason why I feel like this is the best ticket is because it mainly is because of Joe Biden. Even though the enthusiasm is not out there, and I will agree to that. His he does appeal to a lot of the working class white people. He appeals. He is. It's nothing. Joe Biden is running strong in every single swing state, and that's going to be an issue. So I do think that they got I've been looking at the forecast, and it's what 71%. Some in some forecasts is 76% that he would be the next president of the United States. But I think because he's running so strong in these swing states, is the reason why this is the best ticket to beat Donald Trump.
So what?
Well,
Oh, go ahead, Chad. Go ahead.
just to address this comment that just popped up on the bottom of the screen from Tam Watts, that's actually not true at all. I mean, you can go back to the debates that were happening just a few months ago in the Democrat primaries, the ones that she was a part of, where she was on the stage with Joe Biden, and they had the opportunity to flesh out their policy ideas, and they were opposed on many different policies. One of the things I do commend about Democrats is whenever it comes time uh, to support the ticket during the DNC, convention,
They show up. They
Democrats are really
strong.
good about setting aside their, yeah, they're really good about setting aside their. I mean, you saw it with Sean King,
Absolutely.
who during the primary said, "I can't support two people. I cannot support is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris because of their track record with regard to black incarceration." And then when he picks her as when he picks Kamala Harris as mate, all of that just completely went away in the wind. And I'm so proud to support the sister who graduated from an HBCU and all this other. Like, where did this come from?
I mean, but
Democrats are really good at.
Chad,
Well, let me
if I,
finish my
if I
point. Just let me finish my
yeah,
point.
And I can tell you
Democrats
where
are
it
really
came
good
from. I can
about.
tell you where it came from too.
Well, the point that I'm making, and I'm not trying to knock Democrats. I'm just saying that Democrats are really good about setting aside their differences and coming together. But to me, even though that's a noble thing, that's a commendable thing, it could also be seen as very fake. You know what I mean? How do you go hard for this particular policy, but to get that VP slot suddenly, okay, forget I ever said that. Forget I ever said the thing about, integration and busing and how you were, buddy buddy with staunch segregationists and you still speak very highly of. Forget I said all those things. I'm with you. I'm 100% on board. And so this idea that these two are just, like peas in a pod when it comes to policy is just completely not true.
I,
Now, Abraham Lincoln had what he called a team of rivals, where people that he ran against, he put in his administration for the purpose of keeping it fair and balanced as he led the country. And so I think it's a noble thing to put people on your ticket who you don't necessarily agree with on every single point. I think that's a good thing,
but
but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like they're, the same when it comes to policy, because they're simply not.
well, I,
it's hard to measure because they both flip flop like Obama. They go with the wind, whatever the consensus
Well,
is.
here's the thing. I do want to address it because I mean, it would seem as if it's like, oh, before we got to this moment, everybody was so divided. I look at it kind of like almost kind of like family, right? You
right.
know how if you and your family are beefing, like y'all beef within each other, but when it comes to other people, like you don't get to talk about family. You know what I'm saying? Like if we gonna fight, like we gonna fight within ourselves. But when we represent and we go out and we show ourselves to other people, like we gonna look like we're cohesive as a whole. And I
And
think, like you said, I mean, it's definitely commendable that at this point, like we are going to do, not say we, the Democratic Party are so to a point that it's like whatever we have to do to get Donald Trump out of office, if that means I have to put my differences aside and bite my tongue and be okay because this is the best choice, this is the best option that we have, then okay, we'll do that. As long as
But
that means getting
I'm
Trump out of
interested though in
office, and it
knowing.
will.
I'm
Can I say
interested in
something,
knowing
Joe?
by what merit is he better though, because that's
Can
something we still haven't quite covered.
can I
By
say
what
something?
merit is Joe Biden better than Donald Trump?
You know,
Well, we
Like
won't know
objectively
until
speaking,
we wouldn't necessarily know
let me.
until he's
well,
president
based on
because.
policy.
Can I say
Well,
something real quick to
Oh, go
counter
ahead, go
your
ahead.
point that this is in kind of what Lauren was saying. This is true for both parties, right? I mean,
Right.
we saw this with Bush and McCain and everybody, but we saw this really rough in the 2016 election with Donald Trump, with Ted Cruz and and Jeb Bush. I mean, matter of
Which
fact,
is what you said, Chad, yourself. Chad, you said you made that same point yourself, how like Trump was not even your initial choice at first.
that's right. I mean, and he was very combative. It in the if people forget that Republican primary, Donald Trump had a name for every one of those candidates and called them all kinds of names. And
It still does.
he even accused Ted Cruz's father of being involved in the assassination of JFK. And then you got people like Lindsey Graham. You go and listen to all the things Lindsey Graham said about Donald Trump, all true by the way, before in the primaries, and how they are now, from Paul Ryan to Ryan Previs. These were not Trump people. They despised Donald Trump because they felt like he was an outsider who was coming in. Matter of fact, they made him sign a letter. You remember that? They made him sign that promissory note that everybody who, if you get elected, that you will run as a Republican.
He
You
didn't
know,
sign it.
right. But what I'm saying is this they had issues with Donald Trump. All parties get behind the candidates. This is what they do. It's nasty in the beginning. It's bad in the beginning. Hillary and Obama had issues.
that's
McCain
that's definitely
and
true.
Bush had issues. These people have issues, and like Lauren said, it's like family. You put it aside. We all one party. Now it's time to come together. Everybody running for president at this point.
Right. It's a competition.
Race.
However, I can't definitively say that there are policies that Joe Biden has that are better than Trump's. I can only say that Biden will not be as divided and contribute to the division of the country and society like Trump is. Trump
I
is
don't
a
even think. Yeah.
narcissistic egomaniac, and that to me just creates a bad culture for the country.
I don't even think
I
Donald
can't say
Trump
his
knows his
policies.
policies.
I can't say all of his policies are worse than what Biden's would be. I can only assume that Biden's policies are going to be Obama's policies, and I'm not interested in those fiscally.
And that
Can I
would
speak to
be
that?
that would be fair to say. I mean, just kind of piggybacking on what Obama did and what success he did have, it would make sense that probably a lot of his policies, if not exact, would mirror somewhat of the Obama administration.
And Obama had a great economic success with his policies. And to say that
Did
he
he?
didn't is a lie.
What was
I
the
mean,
success that he had?
like I said before, he had one of the longest streaks of economic growth. His job employment record down from 10% to 4%. These because you think these are bad policies? No. We're back up at 10% right now. And so when you think about GDP, he hit the GDP 4 times. Donald Trump has yet to hit it. Yet.
It's impossible, Tam.
And so
It's impossible.
and,
But I
and,
Hey,
got to do it.
y'all gonna have to work that out, bro. Sound like y'all got a divided household there, sir.
Oh
and
no, we're on
also-
the same page. We're on the same exact same
We're on
page.
the same page. And so when you talk about policies, these
On
policies,
both things, not all.
Donald Trump is one of the slowest when it comes to economic growth. And so, we say this. I don't think Donald Trump knows his policies. He can't even tell you what he's going to do if he get elected for the next 4 years. I mean, you saw the interview he did with Sean Hannity, and he asked him what he's going to do for the next 4 years. He can't even.
I think we have to be categorical when we talk about that. What's a specific policy that
He
you
didn't know.
be concerned about his relation to Trump compared to Biden and
what's going to
Obama?
happen for the next 4 years? And he couldn't answer the question.
I think he's going to continue doing whatever he's doing now. I think we got to get into specifics, like what exactly, because on Obama Biden campaign or administration, I mean, we know what Biden's going to do based on what Obama did, I assume. But I think Trump is just going to continue doing what he's doing.
And also, we gotta. Donald Trump is gonna. I mean, if Joe Biden becomes president, he's gonna inherit a way worse economy than Donald Trump did, and we know
Only because of the pandemic.
that's right. But But
That's a whole nother conversation, though.
Biden had a worse economy when
but that's not
Obama had a worse economy
entirely true, because the economy is actually showing signs of
it's not going to be
picking back
where
up
Donald Trump was when he came
at a faster rate, than even the most mainstream economists predicted it would. In light of the pandemic, and
that's speculatory. I mean,
yeah,
it's speculatory. I mean, we can predict and forecast, but until it actually happens, I mean, like I said, like we will not have any.
Again, it's not speculative. Like, there is evidence of the economy picking up at a faster pace than economists thought that it would at the back end of this pandemic. And then to the point that he made earlier about how the economy was doing so well whenever Donald Trump inherited the presidency is just completely false. Well, not
where's that debt coming from? Oh, sorry. I mean,
no, go ahead. Go ahead, Lamar.
I'd like to know
he said we're going to inherit $26 trillion debt. Where is it coming from? Is it Democratic? Is it the House? Or where is it coming from? Where's the debt coming from?
He's the president. It's his policies.
It could be coming from Trump signing more of these Corona checks.
And also, Chad, I'm not
a fan of the Corona checks, but I'd rather the Corona checks go out to people, like regular everyday people, than to.
But that's just executive order, though. Like that's
to bail out auto industries like Obama did. I mean, and so that's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that every policy that came out of the Trump administration thus far, it has been superb and flawless and perfect. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it has. But at the same time, like, we also have to be honest about the presidency of Barack Obama. We can't pretend that just because this man has brown skin that he can't do no wrong, and that his presidency was completely without corruption when it was.
He inherited it was his economy wasn't good when he
right on, Paul.
Trump, and then not only that, Joe Biden was one of the main proponents of the corruption in the Obama administration. But yet, here he sits as the Democrat nominee.
And corruption in what way?
Corruption with Ukraine and his son, who
that's been proven to be false.
No, it hasn't. How has it been?
That's been proven to be false.
How?
How has it been proven to be that it happened?
What do you mean?
I know Russian collusion was proved.
That's his own words. His own words. Joe Biden's own words.
In what way was it a corruption? You tell me.
But wait, pause. Before we get to Biden, who's not president, I mean, if we're going to bring that up, then why is the Russian collusion not a talking point? I'm just trying to keep this. I'm trying to keep this level and fair, because Donald Trump is the president.
And he is corrupt.
He is corrupt.
And
so if we're gonna fight,
right, Lamar.
If we're gonna fight fire with fire, then we have to make sure we're fighting fair. Like, he has been. There's proof that there was like Russian collusion with the whole election and so on and so forth.
And also, Lawrence, and also what he got impeached for was in the results of Ukraine. What the actual impeachment was for was trying to withhold the aid money for Ukraine because he wanted them to announce some stuff on Joe Biden. And this is why he got impeached. And
Joe Biden literally said, like, he is on tape in front of an audience saying that he told the Ukrainian government, if they don't get rid of this person, then he's not going to give them, I think, $1 billion or something like that. And then he said that whenever they let him go, he released the money to them. This is overt bribery.
I saw that. They all do it, but I saw it.
Right,
right, and that's the point, because
but to your point,
they're all doing it, right? So it's not like,
not
to your point, Lawrence, like you just said.
In U.S. history.
Okay, that's absurd. But Lawrence, you just said that. Lawrence, you just said that, like, okay, well, Donald Trump is the president, so we're talking about him. Okay, I understand that, dude, but, like, let's be intellectually honest. Like, we are less than 100 days away from a general election where you have Joe Biden as the top guy for the Democrats and Donald Trump as the top guy for the Republicans. So absolutely, it's necessary to talk about the corruption of both and not to just hone in on the corruption.
But this is what happens.
We have to be intellectually dishonest.
Right. And so real quick, this is why I bring this up, though. Here's why I bring this up, because Like it's like we're having to pick the lesser of two evils.
That's
It's
right.
like, okay, I'm gonna buy is okay, go with me, forgive the reference. It's the only thing I can think of right now. But if I'm gonna buy weed from the weed man, like there's this weed man and then there's this weed man. Well, this weed man gave me free papers. Like they both smoke, they both selling me weed. But yet at the same time, like, okay, I get free papers over here. So who am I gonna vote for? Like who am
You
I going?
just
Who am I
seriously
going?
use the weed
And
analogy.
also,
Like who am I going to buy
Right.
from? Like you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, okay, like corruption is the thing on the table. Yes, like
Right.
they're both corrupt. Like we know politicians are
They are
corrupt.
corrupt.
So now we have to look at from a cultural party perspective, like how are you gonna help me? Because I'm Hillary, you could say Barack, Donald
Well, if I
Trump,
can answer,
Bush, Clinton, like they're all corrupt.
well,
So
if
it's
I
not
can,
fair to use that as a talking point. That's all I'm saying.
well, if I can answer that, like, so my aim is twofold. On the one hand, I want to make it clear because we are talking about the corruption of Donald Trump, and again, I just conceded to the fact that I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everything that came out of his administration has been great. But at the same time, we must not ignore or try to overshadow the corruption of Joe Biden. And one of the things that I want to bring into question again is how loyal we as Black people are to the Democrat Party. And so that is to say this: for time and time again, we overlook the corruption of Democrats simply because they're Democrats, and we hone in and emphasize and amplify the corruption of Republicans, and it's just not intellectually honest. You
Well,
know what
here's
I'm
the
saying?
issue with
And
that
so,
because
and this is the last point, though. This is the last
okay,
point.
and I'll tell you the problem with that statement. Go ahead, I'm listening.
And so, how is it that Joe Biden can sit there and say that there is no intellectual diversity among Black people, and it's news for like a day, and then you don't hear about it anymore? Where you and I know,
diversity. He didn't say
dude,
that. Don't make
dude,
up lies.
how am I making up lies? He said that
He was talking about.
he said with the exception of with notable exceptions, unlike the Black community, there's intellectual diversity with Latinos. I mean, come on, man. Like, of course,
He never said intellectual diversity. Intellectual diversity? He never said that. He said there was great diversity, meaning that Hispanic people don't come from just Mexico. They come from all over the place. So they all have different views. Is what he was talking.
Okay, so you're okay. So are we going to be a surrogate for Joe Biden, or are we going to talk facts? So first of all, let me finish.
Did you hear him say intellectual diversity?
Right, Tam. What Tam said is exactly the reason I'm voting the way I'm voting.
So let me go back. Let's go back real quick. I want to address something Chad said, and then we'll move forward. Okay.
Okay. So we can get into the weeds of what he meant with what he said, but we all know what he said. And then, just 3 months earlier, where he said, like, well, if you're not voting for me, then you ain't Black. And so we all know that if it was Donald Trump who said that, like, we wouldn't have let it go. We would not have let it go. And so one of the things that I want us to do as a people, as Black people, is to bring into question the loyalty we have to Democrats, where it blinds us to the mess that goes on with them. Because you made the point, Lawrence, that there's corruption with politicians. Okay, I concede to that. Donald Trump, I mean, I think you made this point. I think I was in a Lamar's show when somebody made the point of
COG tonight.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah,
just be on the Friday one, not the Monday one.
8:00.
But I mean, but there is corruption, with politicians, and we can't pretend like that's not a real thing. But at the same time, like, if we're going to talk about how, Donald Trump. Oh yeah. So somebody made the point that Donald Trump gave money to. I think it was you actually. Who made the point, or who he made donations to Kamala Harris's campaign. In the Clintons, and we all know that. Okay, Trump is a businessman, and businessmen pay off politicians. That doesn't necessarily make it right, but we understand that that's what happens, and whenever business and politics kind of intermingle.
Lobbyists,
baby.
What's that?
That's they're called lobbyists.
Paul found the quote. No, Paul found the exact quote.
Right, but I mean, my thing is, like, are we seriously going to sit here and pretend, and the climax of a of an election season, are we going to sit here and pretend that Joe Biden can't do no wrong? Like, are we
No,
seriously going to do that?
no. I think no one on this panel has said that
Anyway,
politicians are
that's the point I
corrupt.
wanted to make.
Nobody on this panel said politicians aren't corrupt. I said before you guys got on that both of these Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden are flawed people. But I feel like you're doing the exact same thing that you're telling black people not to do with the Democratic Party. You're annoying the faults in the corruption of Donald Trump and trying to, you know, smooth go a different direction to the Democratic Party, and not realizing that you're doing the exact same thing with Donald Trump. Your loyalty to Donald Trump, you're not really acknowledging how corrupt this guy is. I mean, you got people. Think about it. When he leaves office, do you know the stories that are going to?
How am I not realizing how corrupt he is? Whenever I just told you that I don't agree with everything that came out of this.
But what you do is, and this is a good thing, Lawrence. This is what happens a lot when you start talking about how corrupt Donald Trump is. They immediately start talking about Hillary Clinton, Obama, or somebody else.
Well, if I can interject just real quick, if I can interject real quick, because your critique of Donald Trump is coming from a place of Democrat loyalty on behalf of blacks. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be willing to give you the time of day and listen to you if you're going to be equally critical of Joe Biden and Democrats. Okay, let's have this conversation. But if you're coming from a place,
forget about anything that has to do with our community. I'm just talking about just corrupt. Period. He has the worst ethics record in U.S. history for a politician.
And so when you use language like he has the worst, again, that's not intellectually honest. No, it's not.
Show me the
numbers.
Go look at the ethics. They say it all the time. This is a guy who, me and Lamar had this conversation early today, that they have said that they said that Donald Trump will probably say 20,000 lies before when he leaves office. He's now already exceeded that today. This past week, over 20,000 lies. No U.S. president has been on record lying that much to the public. And so he lied about everything. It don't matter if it's Tim Cook. I said Tim Apple. I said Tim Cook. It don't matter what it is. Today he said that New Zealand is having a wave of coronavirus. It's not true. They got 13 cases. He has lied now, Chad, over. I know you want to read and I listen. He's lied over 20,000 times. 20,000 times. No other president in U.S. history in the 8 years that they've been president has lied that much.
I don't know. I think Fillmore may have.
I knew it was coming. So real quick, I want to go back because I kind of feel like we're taking a turn. So I want to go back to address something that Chad has said previously about how the Democratic Party, the black people identify so strongly with the Democratic Party, right? I've said this so many times. I've been here 32 years and I've seen, let's see, there was Bill Clinton, there was Bush, and then there was Bush again, there was Obama, and then there's Trump now, right?
Yeah.
The hood looks exactly the same. It has not changed. They built a freeway that goes through it, but nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
When I drive through South Oak Cliff or if I drive through Stop 6, yeah, they built a Walmart and some other things. And we've talked about this before. It's like we criticize black people for giving our votes to the Democrats, right? But when the Republicans have that opportunity, what have they done with it, right? And again, I'm not advocating for one party or another. Listen, what you identify with and who you identify as is your business. But what I'm saying is I do not believe that it is fair to criticize African Americans for sticking to something that is kind of, again, it's the lesser of two evils.
I'm sorry. I want to
go ahead, Lamar.
I think that we should. I think it'd be great if black folks gave it a shot.
Why?
To try something different.
Based on what?
I feel like the Democratic Party is modern day slavery in the way of creating a crutch by giving all these goodies, entitlement programs, and all this promise and all this crap. And keeping freeways going through the cities, through the hood, and also making sure everybody's getting all these goodies so they don't have to get on their feet and do better for themselves. They put a ceiling on our folks to where you don't have to do nothing else. I feel like the Republican Party creates opportunities for you to become business owners, make money, be self-sufficient versus relying on the government, whereas the Democrats want you to rely on them for votes. That's my opinion on it.
Okay.
Okay, so and I think that was very well put by Lamar. But Lawrence, you said something that I think is interesting. You said that in your lifetime, you proceeded to name all the presidents, and you said the hood still looks the same. And that is coming from a place of misunderstanding. And I know you're a smart guy, so I know you understand, but I don't think a lot of people do. Misunderstanding just who has an impact on the hood and who doesn't when it comes to politicians.
Local.
We focus
Right.
so much on the president, and we take our eyes off of the school board. We take our eyes off of the city council members. We take our eyes off the people who are
right.
in our neighborhood. Well, hold on. We take our eyes off the people who are in our neighborhoods.
And we have that conversation. Absolutely.
Why is it that they drive the nice cars? Why is it that they have the big houses? Why is it that they make all the money? And again, their neighborhoods are crap. But we vote for the same people over and over and over and over and over and over
Our
again.
man downtown, John Wiley Price.
Exactly. And so we keep voting for these people. And then anytime something happens, like a police brutality situation or what have you, and we look outward at Republicans and conservative policies, not realizing that the police chief who runs a police department where this police officer worked that brutalized that black, man or black woman is a Democrat. And so we keep voting for Democrats thinking, okay, they're on our side. They're about, they're about progress. They're about black empowerment, all these things. And I'm not even someone who would argue that, okay, let's vote for Republicans and everything will get better. I'm about personal responsibility. Let's take personal responsibility. Let's do our own thing. Let's take control of our own communities. Then we'll see things get better. Voting is just something that we do that can help, that can assist in moving us in the right direction, but it's not the thing that will make everything better. Democrats want you to believe that if you vote for me, I will make everything better. I'll be your crutch. You don't even got to worry about nothing. And that's just a lie. And so yes, I would say vote for Republicans. Not because Republicans will make everything better, but for the same reason Lamar said about business growth and entrepreneurship and empowerment. But don't let it stop there. Also take ownership, take responsibility, and let's, and you made this point, this is the last point I make. You made this point about like it's not fair to blame black people or something like that. Do I have that right, or did you use different worded?
Yeah, I didn't necessarily say is blame, but to criticize.
Yeah.
Sounds very Candace Owens-ish.
But I do have a genuine question for you, and not to deviate from everything, but like when it comes to this idea of not criticizing black culture, at what point? And I'm not one who believes it's okay to air out your dirty laundry in front of the world. So the world can see.
Of course, Lamar does. He did last night.
To an extent. But at what point do you get real and criticize things that are going on in the culture that need to be addressed? Because if everything is always a system, if everything is always outward, and we're never taking responsibility, then at what point do we do that? Like, that's a genuine question.
Right.
So okay, so let's go back to something that we talked about previously in education, or how often has it been effective to criticize anyone and be productive? It never works. It show me one time. So I'm going to answer your question. We're talking about, because I feel like it is unfair for you to criticize the ignorance of a culture of people, because that's what's happening. Black people are basically dumb for continuing to vote for the Democratic people who show no interest in them, right? That's kind of like the sentiment of what you're saying. So my question is this: now, because we're so frustrated, we begin to belittle a whole cultural race of people. But how does that help? Because it's not going to wake them up. It hasn't. because you're not the first people. The Black conservative movement were not the first group of people to try to awaken the Black community. This has been happening historically for a while. So how do you feel that doing that is going to help change a culture of people? Talking about them, again, as with anything, is not going to change a culture of people. We know the issues, especially like if you are in the community and you are connected to the community, you know the issues. But my question is, how does that help the community? That does, like, to me, in my opinion, that doesn't help. I mean, it's obvious. Like, we know, and we've talked on Lamar's show, we know the issues that are present in the homes, in the projects, like on this side of town. Like, there are some of us, again, who are here that are doing well. Good for us, right? Like, that's, I mean, I would say Lamar is doing pretty good. Like, I mean, he got the shades on in the Oval Office.
I'm a little, yeah.
You know, with the, you know what I'm saying? But, and so for me, what I'm getting at, I say it is unfair because I feel like because of where we are, we have more of a responsibility outside of what we say to them to show what it is that can, even if the Republican Party is the right choice. Okay, cool. How do we get that to our people? How do we get them to realize to do it? Because I don't feel like
that's a good question.
You know, and because that's where I'm at with it. Like, I hear y'all are dumb, y'all are retarded for continuing to do this, but what is the?
I think progress is being made. I think there's a lot more Black folks like bold enough. I gotta say bold enough, which is a shame.
Right.
Bold enough and not fearful to entertain seeing what the Republican Party or conservatives have to offer, because it used to be such a stigma. You see a Black guy that says he's not a Democrat, whether it be Chad, who's a conservative, or me, that's fiscally conservative but a moderate. We get chastised and talked crazy about and called stupid and crazy and Uncle Toms. I've been called an Uncle Tom by a professor at a college from everybody.
Dang.
So that stigma, I think once we get past that fear, which a lot of us are now, there is a lot more people entertaining it and finding that it works better for their household and for them individually. And I found that for me and my family, and I think a lot of people are getting bold enough, and I think it's slowly happening.
Well, can I say also, you listen, there's always been Black Republicans. It's, there was more Black Republicans at one point.
Successful and effective Black Republicans.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. And so this is not nothing, the thing is, I think it's the party. If the party truly wants to get the Black vote, they will go out and try to get the Black vote. And they really have not tried to go get the Black vote since Ronald Reagan. At one point in this country,
I gotta chime in before you can I?
Yeah,
can I please? I'm in. You said they don't try to get the Black vote. If maybe we should look at it from a different angle of how about Black folks stop stigmatizing Black folk entertaining the conservatives or the Republicans, and get more Black people in Congress that are Republicans, then perhaps there'll be some people that can really go out. How are these white people gonna go out and Black folk come be a part of their party?
Lamar, there's a lot of, think about it. Everybody in Washington is mostly white anyway, so they mostly white.
Scott, get chatting about Black folk.
Whether they're Republican or whether they
we need more representation. We need more representation.
And I always say this, that Black people would benefit for two parties going after their vote, because if two parties going after your vote, then you can really have some pull at this point to leverage to say, listen, you want my vote, these things got to change. Now, I'm telling you, they go back and they looked at when did the Republican Party really start becoming about just getting the white vote. It happened right around the time Ronald Reagan was running for president, and they have not deviated from that strategy. And so I think that's the main thing. Is also, I also feel like
they ain't going for nobody's vote.
Where's the money?
Nobody's vote. Democrats do that.
I also feel like
do that. Every time I go on YouTube right now, all these Democrats keep popping on the screen every little ad. I'm like, will y'all quit asking me for money? Leave me
The
alone.
question is, what you been clicking on, Lamar? What you been clicking on to get all these Democratic ads?
I'm just regular stuff. I'm like, God, y'all, every ad
Clicking on
Schumer or Pelosi or somebody telling me that it's time. Hey, leave me alone.
But to the conservative, you more conservative because of the physically, you talk about the money aspect of it.
It's hard to describe me.
But like I said on Monday, Democratic policies have, and you can go. They went back 60 years. We've had better job records. They've had. Chat. Matter of fact, I will bring the numbers so you can see. They had better job records.
I don't believe it.
GDP went up by more than 1.5% more on the Democratic president. They had a better record when it comes to the stock market, and they had better records overall when it comes to just the economy, in the GDP, in the economy. So overall, so when you talk about Democrats, being worse when it comes to economy, it's just not true. Democrats have raised minimum wage. They are the party that raised minimum wage. And so you just think about that when I talk about what true change is. That's the
about to get interesting
when it comes to money.
That is not.
Well, we don't need a minimum wage. We don't need a minimum wage. So, but I digress.
Okay, so with that being said, new sir who just popped up on the screen, introduce yourself, please.
I'm Harold Cornish. I've spoken here before. I'm a former Dallas police officer, over 30 years of law enforcement experience, over 30 years of military experience, currently retired, just retired in the military. And I've done a lot of activism, dealing with discrimination, abuse of citizens, et cetera, et cetera. I've spoken on this forum before. Lamar and at least one of his, the brother with, I forget your name, but they've heard my piece, and I love what's going on. And this brother here, this new brother I've seen today with the glasses on, light shirt. Look, man, I need to know who this guy is. You need to say this guy's name again. You're on point, young man.
My name is Chad Jackson.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you for chiming in. Yeah, I had no idea that this was. So I don't know. Somebody left the door open. What happened?
Well, I got the key to the door.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, glad to have you on. So this is what
I'm just glad you young brothers just focusing on I mean, I like what Chad is doing. He's trying to keep it neutral, trying to keep it real. 40 plus years of mayors, Democratic mayors, Democratic council members, congressmen. How much longer are we gonna, fat pocket, black politicians, how much longer are we gonna keep this going? That's what I want to know. How much longer do we need to keep it going?
Well, I would counter that question and say, what are we willing to do to change the climate? Again, I'm 32 now, and I agree. Like, I don't necessarily identify with either party. I'm about what is it? Yeah. Again, the whole show is being the people. My question is, are we going to continue to talk about what has happened, or are we going to figure out strategically, put our minds together to figure out, like, how are we going to change the culture? Because whether, again, Democrat, Republican, I've even being here on the show, it's always about, let's formulate a plan. Like, again, like, let's vet, because these are choices that we make. These are people that we vote and that we put in office. And I always say, like, there's a huge level of ignorance because we don't know. And so, like, what is it that we need to do to get information in the hands of our people so we can make better decisions, so we know who to vote for? I feel like be the people and, TFG politics is just, that's one end of the spectrum. Like you said, it's been, you're right, for 40 years, 40 right. years, and there's still
you put on a piece of paper what the goals of all you, like, say, collectively, you guys, this is what we're for. All right. And so the Democratic, Republican Party, those philosophies go out the window.
Right.
And then you just start saying who are working toward which is the best candidate. It's all objective
Absolutely.
to meet our objectives.
I feel like
That's
this is
it.
a Be the People episode. I think this is like episode 2 or 3. I think that's how that goes. We share our ideology and then we give our votes to that person, right?
And here's what I'm saying. But keep in mind, I've mentioned this to you guys before. But let's say of the 4 of you guys, 1 or maybe 2 or maybe even 3 or more of you guys have got to make a determination. If you all are coming up with these ideas to possibly run and show that the system can work for us.
I agree. I totally agree. This was definitely a Be the People episode. And again, it is about trying to get people informed. The people that we see as our representatives and our senators are our choices or the lack thereof.
Well, there's somebody's
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Or the lack thereof.
And here's the thing. Right. And we have got to make them understand they work for us. Period. Exactly. When I see a politician, I go up to them and I'm talking to them just like I talk to you guys.
You're
Look, I don't have time for
your salary. Absolutely. Like,
right. You work for me. And I will say to them, yeah, that's right. That's the way I feel. And you know, and still being respectful to them. But like I said, I speak to them just as I'm speaking to you, young men.
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree. It's, you know, we can look at our culture and say, okay, what are some things that we have to change? You know, but I do agree that, you know, if we get more of us running, you know, that care about the community, you can affect the community. You know, and it also leadership is important. You know what true leadership looks like.
But I couldn't run because I wouldn't run Democrat and black folk wouldn't vote for me.
Right. But however way you run, you want to maintain that nucleus. You want to maintain that nucleus of you guys that's keeping the runner honest.
But
that's the problem. That's what happens that's what happens in the past. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, because honestly, like the party, like it doesn't matter, like whether it's independent, Republican, or Democrat. We're pushing the ideology. We're not pushing the platform. Like we're not pushing Republican or Democrat. Like these are our ideoloologies.
Right.
This is who represents our collective thought. Right. Absolutely.
We're pushing justice and equal access. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
And like you said, it's subjective. So everybody got different reasons of why they're what, right?
No. Once you put it on paper, it is objective. That is an objective. Once you guys agree on some goals, that is objective. You know, it doesn't become subjective. When you get off course, you bring them right back to the object.
To the piece of paper that we put down.
That's right.
These are our ideas.
That's the problem that we run into.
But this is what I was saying. Some people are, for instance, I'm more on social issues. Chad, I believe you're more on social issues, right? You know, gay marriage, abortion, these type of things, you know, is the reason why Chad, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or you're a Republican, and I'm more on social issues as well. And so these things guide my, you know, vote, so to speak.
I understand.
Yeah, you know, because I do believe in gay marriage, and I do believe in I believe in the Second Amendment as well. But I do think there need to be some gun control. I mean, evident, you know, we see shootings all over the place. There needs to be some gun control. And I you know, so, but I also believe in a woman's right to choose. I believe in, you know, those things that guide me to, you know, vote the way I vote.
Well, I feel the same. I feel the same that you're talking there, but totally the opposite. You know, I believe I love my women. You know, the transgender are not going to take over being a woman. You know, hey, they can never be a woman.
They 1% of the population.
Not in a pronoun, not in a common noun or anything. That's the point. And I don't hate them. They need equal access. Let's get this straight too. They need equal access. They need equal access to housing, jobs, and education, just like everyone else. But they don't need. How can they be equal to a woman? Never. So that's another subject.
Equal as a human being.
I feel like that's another episode.
No. They are talking about. Come on now. They're talking about being
women have the same rights as men have the same rights, and they say they have the same rights. So they're men.
No. It's something. No. Some of them believe that being called a woman is their right.
It's not against the law.
That's what they're petitioning for.
It's not against the law to call somebody a woman or a male.
It's the law. It's against the law of common sense, brother. And it's against the law. Let me say this here.
What's common sense?
It's against the law.
I think we're getting off topic.
If you love your woman, right? Now this is a man thing. I'm sorry. I get it.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna have.
I'm not gonna let anyone bash women.
No, I'm married to one who's a starch and who's a starch Democrat, also a starch. She's a feminist and a very strong woman who's a psychologist who believes in women's rights, very strongly in women's rights. So yeah,
and a transgen competing against. She believes in a transgen competing against a female in boxing or something like that to bash their face in. I got it, brother. No, I see your point, but I'm just against it.
Oh Lord.
She don't believe that at all. But this is a different topic for a different day.
Part of their agenda. I said, we're getting off course. We're getting off course on this. The point is that getting goals established, and then you're sitting down and saying, "Hey, man, we're off course now. Let's get back."
But this is my point I'm making
on the agenda.
The reason why you're so
made
divided,
your point. You made your point.
We're so divided is because of our viewpoints. Is the reason,
right?
And it's mostly social viewpoints are the reason why people vote a certain way.
Absolutely,
not because of the economy. People like to say that, but it's not true. It's social viewpoints will make people vote a certain way.
Well, no, it's a little bit of both.
Mostly social.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
You know,
right? And so just to kind of bring that back, this is the beauty of our democracy. Like ultimately, like that. This is the beauty of the choice we get to make being here in America. But I will say, I feel like this is one of the issues that we have, because even within the five of us that are here, like even the five of us are divided on, like gender. And so
I think me and Lamar together.
Right.
I'm with y'all.
And so like if we are going to make change, because ultimately that was really the point. It's like, how can we make change? Like how can we see the change? Like we listen, we know what the issues are, we know what the problems are, we know what's not happening. We have the timeline, we have the reports. Ultimately, what are we going to do to change that? And as we wrap this up, like the final thoughts, because like it's an hour, and I feel like we probably could go a whole another hour. But ultimately, in talking about our executive branch, I want everybody to remember we still have a say and we have a choice in our government. We have a voice. We have the opportunity with our vote. Our vote is our voice, and not just on the presidential level, but the Senate and like our representatives. Like we choose those people, and that is even more reason why, if we know the Democratic Party, to Chad's point, if we know the Democratic Party is no good, then we have an obligation and a responsibility to change. But
you're absolutely right.
Do we know the Democratic Party? Like how do they know? Like how will we get this message to those who continually are in this cycle for the last 30 years, the last
one thing, like I said, you and Chad, Lamar, you guys y'all got a building block right there. I've listened to both of you guys talk, very objective. That's why I called in, just listening to you two guys. Just establishing some goals, put them on paper, man. This is what we stand for. We can't, we got to understand that as a Black organization, we cannot take on everybody else's fight. And if we take on some other minority fights, we can't take on every fight, every battle that they have. Everyone should have be free from discrimination in employment. What is the Medicare, et cetera, things like that, education, but there are and those are some social issues that are, that we have to address on that, and we have to break free from some of those things. We're behind because we're taking on loads, the fight of other minority groups, and then they exceed us, go past us, and then we, and they leave us behind in the foot at the starting blocks. Absolutely. We've got to stop it. We got to get a little selfish here. Just
to answer your question though, Lawrence, it's all about young people, younger, getting in and running for office. I feel like that's to the point where what Mr. Harold said, that knows what the community needs,
right?
And that's how you start to change things, in my opinion.
That have their own mind,
and they got the nucleus that is keeping them to the word, man.
Holding our
that's important. Holding them accountable.
Holding them accountable is important. But I also think that the parties have to go out and say, listen, we want you a part. And it's not, listen, I know what y'all are saying, but it's not by accident that the more diverse a city is, or the vote go for the Democratic Party.
No, that's because the Democratic Party is a free for all. It's a free
Lamar.
Freak week.
Black Week, bro. The party is not opening their arms to people of color.
Okay, I'm gonna stop.
They're not opening. Listen,
both parties have their problems, their issues.
That's right. Both have their problems.
Absolutely.
And one of those problems of the Republican Party is, they lack a lot of diversity. And they lack a lot of diversity.
But why though? But the reason they lack diversity is because black folks will talk bad about you if you even entertain being a Republican.
We're not even talking about bad people.
You can't even talk about it, all right?
Yeah, listen to his point. That's a good point.
Be in an open forum like this, saying that we're not Democrats.
And I agree. And I agree.
They will beat you up. They will beat you up if they figure that they can. If you say that, hey man, I'm a conservative, or I disagree with them, they're going to say, what?
Right. Well, check this out, y'all. I definitely want to do this again. Next week will be something super special. It'll be a treat. Just tune in. If you haven't seen, hey man, just tune in next week. It's gonna be something special. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube page, please go and subscribe to Be the People on the TFG Media Network page.
Critical media.
Yeah, it's going down. It's good stuff. Like you said, you will be educated and you will be entertained. So I want to thank y'all for coming on tonight. Thank y'all for hanging out. I appreciate it. I cannot wait to do this again and again. It is a call to action. Thank y'all for being the people. Peace. I'm out.
Power to the people.